2 years later, I finally gave the HomePod Mini a try. And I was honestly pleasantly surprised, despite this being 2 years old. So what I'm going to share with you today in this video is my experience and maybe why it's still worth considering in the year 2022. For context, I'd like to share with you a brief story. A few months ago, NanoLeaf reached out to see if I'd like to give their NanoLeaf Essentials bundle a try. This bundle consists of a light strip, a light bulb, and an Apple HomePod Mini. Now, what makes this bundle unique is that both NanoLeaf products and Apple HomePod Mini now support Thread. But what is Thread exactly, and why should we even care? Well, to put it simply, Thread-enabled devices create a mesh network. Each gadget acts as an access point, which means that the more Thread devices there are, the stronger the network becomes. Thread also consumes less power, which saves battery life. And unlike Bluetooth, Thread-connected devices respond much quicker and the connection is much more reliable. Okay, so I want to finally talk about the HomePod Mini. The size of this speaker is very deceptive on video and photos because it's much smaller than I had expected, which made me doubt its capabilities as a speaker that's supposed to fill your room with sound. The setup was very simple, as all you have to do is scan the top of the HomePod Mini using your iPhone and it'll walk you through a few simple steps. The mesh fabric looks and feels high quality. The tester Apple sent me is in this deep blue color, which looks very good in person. The braided cable neatly disappears into the body of the HomePod Mini, and this tiny speaker only takes just about as much space as a small cup of coffee. And although you can control a few things by tapping on the screen on the top, the HomePod Mini really excels in receiving voice commands. The microphone picks up the sound of my voice in my normal speaking volume and tone. I don't have to necessarily raise my voice or over-enunciate my words. As for the sound, well, it does sound good and spacious. Given its diminutive size, it's understandable why people say it sounds really good for its size, because you simply can't win over physics. But it really does sound good, much louder than my Google Home and with more clarity. Of course, do keep in mind that this also costs about twice as much. I took the NanoLeaf Essential light strip and installed it behind my storage cabinet, and the light bulb went in a lamp behind my desk. Once installed, you now have the option of pairing them to your phone using either the NanoLeaf app or through Apple HomeKit. One of the great things about Thread is that there aren't any additional steps required. As long as your devices are Thread enabled, they will automatically use the Thread network to communicate with each other. Other than being able to tell Siri to turn the lights on and off, play music, or read me my reminders, I created two scenes using HomeKit for two specific scenarios. If I wanted to just put my head down and get some work done, I can say, "Hey Siri, focus," and it'll adjust the lights and play some lo-fi background music. I can also say, "Hey Siri, wind down," and the lights will switch to a warmer color and play some relaxing instrumentals, perfect for taking short breaks in the middle of the day. Like I said in the beginning, I was pleasantly surprised, both with the HomePod Mini and the NanoLeaf Essentials. As a matter of fact, I was so happy with the sound of the HomePod Mini that I went ahead and purchased two black ones since I had to return the tester eventually. Enabling stereo mode using two HomePod Minis really makes a difference in the listening experience. The clarity is beyond what I would have expected from such small speakers, and listening to vocals and acoustic instruments is such a joy. Sure, it lacks the low frequencies from larger speakers or from having a separate subwoofer, but for my use in this space, I'm totally happy. Plus, it makes the space look a lot cleaner and feel more modern. The HomePod Minis are great additions to your ever-growing collection of smart home devices, especially if you are deep in the Apple ecosystem. You may not be able to tell Siri to play music from third-party apps such as Spotify, but you can still use AirPlay to send the sound to the speakers. Oddly enough, one HomePod Mini might seem a bit expensive, but spending the extra cash for another one to use in stereo mode makes the total price seem reasonable to me, considering how much I love the sound. Oh, and the handoff feature is kind of gimmicky, but cool nonetheless. The NanoLeaf Essentials are great mood setters in a space. You have the option to change the colors on the fly and make them do wacky things, but you don't have to if that's not your style. Having these devices thread-enabled really does make it feel seamless and reliable. And I think that's something we all want from any of our smart home devices. So the HomePod Mini may be a bit long in the tooth by now, but thanks to accessories such as the NanoLeaf Essentials, it's far from being obsolete. So if you want to try out the NanoLeaf Essentials with the HomePod Mini, Best Buy actually sells it as a bundle, but you can also buy them individually through Apple's website or through Amazon. Thanks again for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I hope to see you guys again real soon. Take care.